Hello, I'm Diane, a Bible teller. Jesus was crucified at 9 in the morning on Passover. It has been 3 hours since Jesus was crucified. And when the 6th hour was come, there was darkness over the whole land until the 9th hour. And at the 9th hour, Jesus cried with a loud voice, saying, Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani, which is being interpreted, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? At that time, the way of expressing time was different from now. The 6th hour is noon today. Mark always put a Greek translation on the back when he translated Aramaic that Jesus has said. The other Gospels say that Jesus has spoken several times since he was crucified, but this is the only one in the Gospel of Mark. But this is not the first time that Jesus said. The same one is in the Psalm of the Old Testament. My God, why hast thou forsaken me? Why art thou so far from helping me, and from the words of my roaring? At that time, the Jews knew Psalms well, so Jesus must have said his pain by shouting a familiar phrase. Psalm 22 is known to have prophesied the hardship of Jesus. David wrote Psalm 22. David lived about 1,000 years before Jesus. These passages were exactly realized as Jesus was crucified. And Jesus cried with a loud voice and gave up the ghost. And the veil of the temple was rent in twine from the top to the bottom. Saying this, Jesus died. It has been 6 hours since he was crucified. The veil of the temple, which is known that split when Jesus died, refers to the Holy of Holies. It is a great symbol of Christianity. The Holy of Holies is the place where the Ark of the Covenant is kept. The Ark of the Covenant contains a stone tablet on which the 10 commandments that Moses received from Jehovah. Even though the real Ark of the Covenant disappeared a long time ago when Babylon invaded, the Holy of Holies was literally a sacred place. The Holy of Holies was always blocked with thick curtain, and only the high priest could enter once a year. The tearing of this curtain means that the wall between Jehovah and the common people is disappeared. Now, people can meet God without having to go through the priest and without the hassle of sacrificing animals. It was through the death of Jesus. The day when Jesus died was Passover, and on that day, people had to sacrifice a lamb. Jesus got rid of all this process by killing himself. This is why Jesus is called the Passover lamb. And when the centurion, which stood over against him, saw that he so cried out and gave up the ghost, he said, Truly, this man was the Son of God. After Jesus died, the first one who recognizes him as the Son of God was a stranger, not a Jew, the chosen ethnic, but a Roman who persecuted the Jews. There were also women looking on afar off, among whom was Mary Magdalene, and Mary the mother of James the Less, and of Joses and Salome, who also, when he was in Galilee, followed him and ministered unto him, and many other women which came up with him unto Jerusalem. The disciples ran away, and it was the women who were with Jesus till his death. If you think about it, it was also a woman who put oil on Jesus' head in Bethany for his funeral in advance. At that time, it was a male-dominated society, which cannot be compared to the modern society. But it was women, not men, who shared the important moments of Jesus. Strangers and women. Those were far from the mainstream society of the Jewish era at that time. These were the people who were decorating the end of Jesus. Now, this is how he died. His name was Jesus ben Joseph. He was a carpenter, and for the last 3 years of his life, he taught people about the law and the kingdom of Jehovah. He was crucified, but his body was buried in the grave without being eaten by wild animals. This is the end of the story of Jesus' death, and it is the end of the first series. There were people asking if I'm going to talk about resurrection. I won't talk about resurrection, but I will wrap it up here. I planned to talk about only death of Jesus from the start of the series. I'll talk about resurrection later when I have a better understanding of the Bible. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about Jesus for a while. Thank you very much for listening. It was Diane, a Bible teller. Peace be with you.